Hello everyone. Hi, this is Mandisa Mfeka from Girls Fly program. I am a jet pilot in the South African Air Force by profession, and today I'm just going to tell you a little bit about the career streams that you can consider in aviation, especially when I'll focus on the careers that are orientated towards like flying, from becoming a pilot, the different streams that you can follow if you would wish to become a pilot, the people that we interact with as pilots, the ground crew, the air traffic controllers, the mission controllers, just small segments around that, just to get you thinking about what the possibilities are. So first and foremost, I need to just let you know that if you're interested in coming in these career streams, that it is very important that you have maths, pure maths, and physical science. The reason for that is that this stream is very much physics based, and the foundation and the fundamentals of math support the physics that we go through. So from your aeronautical science that you start learning, principles of flight that you start interacting with, all of those elements like are very much grounded in physical science. And if you're looking to come into this sector, this aviation sector, then I would highly recommend that you make sure that you have physical maths and pure maths and physical science as your subject choice. Okay, so myself, I am a pilot in the military by profession. I joined the South African Air Force in 2008, and the first time I got into an aircraft to pilot myself was in 2010. So basically, there are two ways in which you can explore going into this career. The first way is if you join up and enroll in the military, specifically the South African Air Force for us. Then from there, they will train you. You will not have to pay for anything if you come and join the South African Air Force. Actually, even while you're doing your training, you get like a small salary just to help with your normal day-to-day living. Then from there, you can do your basic military training, your officers formative, because first and foremost, if you join the South African Air Force, you will be a military practitioner first before you become the profession, or a specialist, which is the pilot. Then once you complete your training, once you've completed your basic military training, your officers formative training, your ground school, and your flying training, and you're qualified as a pilot in the South African Air Force, then you can go ahead and choose the three streams of skill that you're going to practice. So you basically specialize. So the first one is that you qualify as a pilot, which is a military practitioner. Then the second stream, once you've gotten to that phase or that stage, then the second part is that you then choose which one you're going to focus on. So there are three paths that you can follow in the military. The first one is to become a transport pilot, and this is now for us, it's managed by the Directorate of Air Transport and Maritime Systems, and there are various sectors as well within that branch, within that tree of air transport. Then the second option is to become a helicopter pilot, and then the third option is to become a combat pilot, and this is where you fly the jets and then eventually start upgrading or learning. Once you've got the skills and knowledge and you've completed your operational training course, then you go over to Gripen, and then you can start being a fighter pilot. So those are the three streams within the military. So the one way in which you can become a pilot is if you join in the military. Then when you qualify as a pilot, then you have three options, which is to become a combat pilot, helicopter pilot, or a transport pilot. But the other way in which you can do it is that you can go straight to an airport or an aviation school, and you will enroll, and then you will start the process where you will start first by getting your private pilot's license, followed by your commercial pilot's license. And then once you've built enough experience and you've completed all the ground school and the courses, then you can become an airline pilot. So this stream of becoming a pilot is a little bit finance intense, and you find that a lot of people who go this way sometimes have a little bit of challenges because they have to find a bursar, or they have to find a sponsor, or they have to find somebody who will actually fund them to get through their training. In previous circumstances, there used to be cadet programs. I remember SAA used to run a cadet program, and they would train somebody straight from matric, and they would train them to get their private pilot's license. Then they would build their hours and then go over to do their commercial pilot's license. And once they have their commercial pilot's license, then they start doing their instructor's course, because one way is that they can build their hours by giving actual instruction, and then they get to learn a little bit more and understand their field better while they're giving instruction. But while they're also giving instruction, then they can also start generating an income. So those are the two branches or the two mechanisms that you can explore as a pilot. Okay, the next career stream that you could possibly explore is if you become the people that interact and control us when we're in the air, and those are air traffic controllers. And there are actually, I think, 5 sectors of air traffic control or control that you could work with. Some airports have 3 of them, and they're about the career streams. So the one career stream is that you become a ground controller. The first person that we talk to, if we're at a big airfield, because they want to decrease the intensity or the clutter on the frequency, then they'll separate the frequencies, and then you'll speak to ground first to get your start clearance or your mission clearance, and then once you have, and your taxi information as well, taxi information and clearance. Once you have completed that and you have received the taxi information and clearance and you've completed your checks and you're at the holding point, then you will contact the tower controller. The tower controller controls all the traffic that is within the airfield in the ATZ. The tower controller would generally be the one who interacts with that. And then once you're airborne and you are out of the controlled airspace and you're starting to go into the general flying area, for instance, or if you're en route to another airfield, then you will then contact approach controller, and they basically control the bigger sector, like my colleague mentioned. Then if you're going to do long navigational flying, and depending on how high the altitudes are that you're going to be routing out, then you may speak to your information system. So sometimes you speak to Johannesburg radar control, or you'll speak to your FIS, which is your flight information system. And they basically manage or watch the traffic that is going to be moving around on the airways. So those are the 5 sectors, and air traffic control is a very intense field. It's high pressure because sometimes you're dealing with a lot of traffic that is coming in, and a period of intensity can be very high very quickly, and a person has to be able to think clearly while under pressure and still able to make logical decisions and still speak calmly to the pilot without getting excited. So if you feel like this is the type of field that you might be interested in, then you can definitely consider doing air traffic control. One of the requirements obviously is that you speak English, and you shouldn't have any speech impediments, as well as mathematics. That one is really essential. And then obviously if you want to stand out in the crowd, you want to make sure that you score the best. Like you want to stand out, have good grades, be calm, have a calm voice, and love interacting and communicating with people and giving instruction to people. So if you would like to do that, then you should consider that career stream. Alright, so from the cockpit into the air, next we have the people who actually manage us on the ground. And these are your technician and ground crew, your maintenance people. They're the people that service the aircraft, that get them ready before the flights. They do the preparations, and also sometimes if they have the competencies, then they can also be the aircraft marshallers. But you know, they have like various skills. They're not only just marshallers. Most of the time they're also technicians and mechanics. So if you're interested in working with the aircraft type parts, and you want to fix them and you want to assemble them, or you love electronics, then you could definitely consider becoming an aircraft mechanic or an avion, which is somebody who specializes in the avionics of the aircraft, the electronics, the people working with the hydraulics, whatever it may be. The ground crew are basically like that. They're the ones who specialize in the physical mechanisms of the aircraft, the parts that make it move, the parts that are essential. And in some cases, like where we, for instance, if you're in the combat line and you fly jets, which is maybe like a lead-in trainer, like, or the Hawk Mark 120, then you will also have people who are armorers, and they would basically be the ones who make this ejection seat safe, because the ejection seat actually has explosives to make sure that you can punch out of the aircraft if you're in a really urgent situation. So then you'll also have armorers who will then make the aircraft safe. And then if the aircraft is a weapon platform, like the Hawk or like Gripen, then you will also find that the armorers will also be the people who will make the aircraft safe, make the weapon safe before they taxi back, if there is a snag or if there is, a hang up or ordnance wants to release or something like that. So you could consider becoming an armorer, you could consider becoming an aircraft mechanic, you could consider becoming a technician, or you could also consider becoming an avion or electrician. So there is a vast amount of career options that you can explore if you're interested in aviation. So that is just like a brief introduction. And also, if you have any more questions, please interact with our representatives. They're with you from Girls Fly Program Africa. They have immediate contact with us, or you could find us on our Facebook page, Girls Fly Program Africa. You can find us on our Instagram page, Girls Fly Africa. You can also reach out onto our organizational website, which is www.gfpafoundation, foundation.org. You can reach out to us at that stage if you have any questions, or if you'd just like to get more information. We're open, we're here to help you, we're here to guide you. And if you're in grade 9 and you're not sure what subjects to take in grade 10, we highly recommend, if you want to come into the STEM field, which is science, technology, engineering, arts, and maths, then we would recommend that you take at least pure maths and physical science if you want to come into this sector. Arts is also really, really great, because maybe you might be interested in your industrial design, or you might be interested in your architecture, or art can also be really, really beneficial. Other subjects that you might consider that will make your life a little bit easier if you want to come into aviation, because it relates to the subjects that we work with, is also geography. Geography is very, very handy, because you understand not only how to read maps and to work with, the topography of the countries, or understanding the weather phases, and be a brief introduction to meteorology. I struggle to say that word, but you understand what I'm trying to say, right? So it can be a brief introduction to meteorology. Delicious English. But anyway, as I said, reach out, speak to interact with our representatives there. They're here to help you. We're here to help you. Or come onto our platforms and we will engage with you happily. And yes, I hope that you found this really, really informative, and that you will consider, if it's not aviation, engineering, or any of those sectors, and then I hope that you found it informative. So from me, Mandisa Mfeka from GFPA, it is goodbye, and I hope that you have a fantastic and exciting day with our representative. Take care.